Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 25 with the Slothz Tech team, immediately kicking things off in the owner training menu, grabbing one of those points there, leveling up quite nicely in that department, and straight over to R&D for some power unit work and quickly into one of the staff events. We got the Belgium Grand Prix coming up today with the sprint race, the second one of the season. So we've got very little practice to do at the start of the race, but quite a lot of work to carry out in the build-up. We have another piece of development work failing. That's the Halo once again. But it looks like we can complete this before we actually get to the race. Finally, the under tray is actually done, and we've got a choice here between the two upgrades. We're going to go with a single development of those dampers there, because we can actually finish them on time, and hopefully the other development work can finish off, and we can start and finish that one before the race as well, potentially. And there we go. We've got a 5-day training event we could do as an activity there off the back of our event earlier, and we finally completed both Halos. So now it's a choice between the 3 different upgrades we've got there. We're going to go with these anyway, the drag front wing end plates, since it will benefit both cars and we'll get them in time for the Dutch Grand Prix. And then it's a bit of a toss-up again. I'm going to go for both of these because we can't get either of them done before Belgium. Rear floor under tray again has failed. How long have we been trying to complete this upgrade now? Quite a while. But there we go, another contribution to the failed development at this R&D department. Maybe it's because we've expanded too quickly, I don't know. But there we go, entering endgame talks. Yes, the final talks between us and Taylor Barnard have begun, so we know exactly what he would like from us as a team. And before we get into the race, back in to get this cockpit weight reduction upgrade from the chassis department, because we haven't got enough weight reduction so far, or drag reduction. And then of course developing one of these upgrades, so we're going to go with the improved energy store. So then it's over to the Belgium sprint race actually to get going. I'm starting to think I'm picking up a cold or something based on how that intro went there. Yes, so of course we've past the halfway point of the season now, and we're immediately kicking things off with a sprint race. We've got the Benelux region to go through, Belgium for today's race, and then we've got the Netherlands on Thursday this week. So don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell as well, so you know when that race is uploaded. As we'll dive headfirst into the second half of this first season. And it's time for the starting grid for the sprint race. And kicking things off on the front row, we have Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. No Max Verstappen by the looks of things. That makes a change in this season. Although the Ferrari and the McLaren have both been doing incredibly well this season. Then we line up on P3 alongside Max Verstappen, followed by Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon, Lewis Hamilton and Oscar Piastri, Kimi Antonelli and Nico Hülkenberg rounding out the top 10. We're followed by Gabriel Bortoleto, Isaac Hadjar, Yuki Tsunoda, Alex Albon, George Russell and Jack Doohan, Lance Stroll and Carlos Sainz, Pierre Gasly, Victor Martins, and finally on the back row it's Ollie Behrman and Liam Lawson. It looks as though we've had quite a few penalties up and down the field, which has led to this bit of a mix-up order. And we've only got 8 laps here in this sprint race, so not a huge amount of time for any drivers who are a little bit further down the order to try and move their way up. So it's not looking good for some of these. We, on the other hand, have been looking particularly strong here, and if we do win this and qualify very well in the next full race qualifying, then we're going to have to up the difficulty all the way to 100. That is the promise I made myself, because I can't be dominating the AI too much in a, well, I suppose we are in the best car, but we're supposed to be in roughly the 4th best car. So that's all to come. Let's get on with the sprint race. So here we go then, lining up on the second row of the grid for this second sprint race of the season. Can we score any points in this one? We failed in Miami. And away we go down towards turn one. We're holding position quite nicely, but we've got Max Verstappen on the outside. He's going to be trying to challenge us through turn one. We've managed to hold our ground. Verstappen is alongside us, but we managed to pull away just in the nick of time before we go up over Rouge. We don't really want to be going alongside someone through there. The AI incredibly slow through this section, for some reason deciding to lift even at this 95 difficulty or whatever we're on here, and that's allowed us to close up massively. And also Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc going side by side at the end of the Camel Straight has really bunched us up here, and we've got a little bit of an opportunity to try and make up some positions. I think we're going to be able to do pretty well in this race, I think, just based on how we've been going so far. This is Nico Hülkenberg, who had a fantastic start further down the order. He started P10. He's already gained 1, now 2, and now this is going to be a third position going up the inside of Lewis Hamilton, as you see us getting a little bit out of shape up ahead. A little bit of contact with the front wing of the Ferrari, and you can see in the mirror the Ferrari is still there. Piastri also still fighting as well by the looks of things, but he's now backed out of it. And side by side with Hamilton through Eau Rouge and onto the Camel Straight. And one of them's going to get the slipstream off of Alonso up ahead. Or is it Piastri, perhaps, who's going to take advantage of the slipstream as they go 3 wide? But somehow Hülkenberg managing to hold on. He's fended off the McLaren and now fended off Lewis Hamilton as well, who has to submit and sit back in what will be, P8 now. This is on board with Piastri, watching things unfold. And he backs out of it pretty early here, but Hülkenberg putting up a strong battle here. We are in talks to get him for next season, and that is only improving our prospects of getting him in the car, at least wanting to put him in the car. So keeping an eye on tyre wear, as that's been a particular crux for us this season. But we gain massively on Charles Leclerc, who's backed off from Norris. Now we've both got the DRS. We're going to be charging towards Norris. Norris is an absolute sitting duck here. He goes defensive to the inside. We're going to go up the middle. It's absolute chaos as we come through here. Charles Leclerc around the outside. Is he going to take the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix? Norris fighting back once again, and Leclerc still not able to find his way past. And we're looking for an opportunity here into the hairpin, and Max Verstappen has seen an opportunity as well around the outside. He's not going to get this one though. We're going to close the door on him, and the status quo has remained for now. Lewis Hamilton, by the way, recovering P7 from Nico Hülkenberg in the background as well. This was the onboard from Charles Leclerc as he took that line. He did have a bit of a lock-up there going around the outside, and then side by side with Norris, just not able to get the car far enough ahead at the apex there and had to give it up and goes defensive. Meanwhile, on board with Verstappen, he sees an opportunity and he sprints into the gap, but could have been a fatality right there with us closing the door on him. Not this time though, as we close up once again on lap 3. Can we make anything of this time? I'm just scanning down the order as well, see where our teammate is. I think he's still pretty much last in the fastest car, doing fantastic. As we close up on Leclerc once again, we're already overtaking him before the DRS slide, and now we've got a great shot at Norris. Norris goes defensive to the inside again, blocks Leclerc, and now we're going to go up the outside of Norris. Norris fighting again, holding the better line, and he gets ahead for the 3rd time in a row. Lando Norris defends the lead from the 2 cars behind him. This is on board with Leclerc. You can see him lifting there as he goes up the hill, and it just leaves him absolutely vulnerable to a chasing Slothz car with a DRS advantage. Potentially, that Ferrari is pretty quick. I'm fairly convinced it might actually have both DRS upgrades, given how fast it is in a straight line when that DRS is open. But it's lights out for Norris. He's got nothing behind him to distract us now, and we can only focus on the back of that McLaren, and that was a slam dunk maneuver around the outside. Norris thinks about it, fighting back, but he's not going to get the chance. And with 4 laps and a bit to go, Verstappen's just taken P3. Oh no, maybe he hasn't. They're fighting in the background, actually. But we've got quite a way to go. This was Verstappen during that fight with Leclerc. Leclerc somehow managed to drop so far back, he's lost DRS to Norris and me as we go through here. And there is Leclerc fighting back, Norris style. So he's picked up something from the other driver, at least. But it was complete dominance for Taylor Barnard. A complete turnaround since the Miami sprint race, in which we qualified outside the top 10 in the rain, finished in 12th in the rain after a disastrous final corner. And Taylor Barnard takes his first sprint victory in Formula 1, reversing onto the racing line to cause maximum disruption to the crowd, as all of those McLaren supporters cheer him on. Someone's just handed me a note. They're actually Max Verstappen supporters cheering him on. And here are the results. Taylor Barnard, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Esteban Ocon, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso and Nico Hülkenberg all picking up points in that sprint race. And now it's time for the main event. So then, it's time for the main event here in Belgium. We already have to up the difficulty as a direct result of that win and complete dominance in the sprint race. We had nearly a 6-second lead over Norris by the end of that race. However, due to some unforeseen circumstances and qualifying going particularly well, as we'll see in a moment, we are now officially at difficulty 100 out of 110. I was under the impression there was 120 difficulty levels on this game, as there were potentially previously, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell as well, and maybe you'll catch the video where we finally go all the way to 110. I'm not looking forward to when that eventually happens and we have to drive in the wet. So on to the starting grid then for the Belgian Grand Prix. And it's Taylor Barnard on pole position by 0.17 of a second, so he nearly avoided that 100 level difficulty. Unfortunately, not this time. We're followed by Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc, Kimi Antonelli, George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, Victor Martins into the top 10, and Nico Hülkenberg. Then we've got Ollie Behrman, Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz and Isaac Hadjar. Then we've got Jack Doohan and Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll, Gabriel Bortoleto, Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, Liam Lawson, and finally Fernando Alonso, who's picked up a 1 million place penalty and will start at the back of the field. And this is where things start to brick it. I start to brick it, having not driven on 100 difficulty since I was recording F1 23. And this is taken, race 9 now of the season to get back to this level. And potentially we could be looking at going higher at some point if I continue on my current trajectory. Hell, maybe in the future I'll end up in one of those creator series or something and actually able to compete. But we're a little way off that. For now, let's just stick to where we are with the Belgium Grand Prix. Okay, then it's ready for 5 red lights. And a long pause, and away we go at the Belgian Grand Prix. We have a fantastic start pulling away from the McLarens, and we're unchallenged into turn 1. The same can't be said for our competitors in the last race, Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris, going very defensive. But Norris now challenging through our ruse. We've managed to go and hold him off, and that's just going to back everyone up here as we got both Mercedes going side by side with each other as well in the background. Absolute chaos unfolding as we come down the Kemmel Straight towards the chicane, and this group of 5 of us at the front have broken away from the Mercedes battle, which is still ongoing behind. Yuki Tsunoda, Nico Hülkenberg and Hamilton all expecting to get them out of the way as quickly as possible as we follow Leclerc as he chased down Max Verstappen and goes to the outside and watches as we go defensive up ahead. Leclerc, does he get the position? No, he doesn't. but he did get a great view of the battles ahead. But of course, don't forget, he's got Piastri behind. This is Antonelli in a sandwich between Tsunoda and Russell. Oh, contact with Tsunoda up O'Roos. That was unbelievable. How did they not get sent into the Shadow Realm? I have no idea. And Russell then gets swiped at by Antonelli as they go down the Camel Straight. Tsunoda absolutely fuming at this. Now potentially with some front wing damage as well. Has to try and defend from the Sauber. And Hulkenberg, once again, looking like he's had a fantastic race start. As we rejoin on lap 2, and we're starting to pull a gap somehow with this higher difficulty. Might have to double check. We are actually on 100. And Leclerc finally gets past Norris, swipes at him in anger after the result of the sprint race. Norris still trying to hang on to P2 at least, but doesn't keep it this time. Leclerc will now chase after us and hope to try and take that win away from us. He's not going to take it, though. As we go on board with Martins, he's dropped to P11, so Hamilton's actually made up some good positions there. I'm not sure who else has jumped him, but he's got a great run here on Hulkenberg to retake that single point, and now he is back into the top 10, having got ahead of the Sauber. And he will now try to catch up to Lewis Hamilton and Yuki Tsunoda, who are in the Mercedes train, as we rejoin Hulkenberg at the end of lap 4. And Hulkenberg is not breaking down. That is unbelievable. We finally cut to a Sauber, which isn't in the middle of blowing up. He is, in fact, coming into the pit lane before anyone else. Maybe he has a puncture. I'm not entirely sure, but he's now 13 seconds behind 21st place Alex Albon, and that's his race ruined. As we go back to Leclerc, trying to retake, or I should say to take P1, and he successfully does that. However, this might just be the best place for him to be, because if he's out in front, he can give us a nice tow around the rest of the circuit and help us pull away from Norris. Norris, by the looks of things, is running the hard tyre. Now, if I remember rightly, Oscar Piastri is also running the hard tyre, so we do have to bear that in mind a bit later on when we come into the pit window, that they will be staying out for a little while longer, and hopefully they will be coming in for their 2-stop and not trying to undercut us with a 1-stop. As we ride on board through this Grand Prix, not a huge amount of action to cut to during this race, to be honest. With us at the front with Leclerc, things kind of just settled down from here on out, but some lovely shots of us driving through the Ardennes forest with some horrendous tyre wear for 6 laps into a Grand Prix, but there you go, it is at Spa, it's a very long lap. And we're closing up nicely on Leclerc. We're going to brake early into the bus stop chicane, missing the apex beautifully there, actually touching the second one. Power out of this corner, not particularly great, as I still have trouble with not spinning the wheels up. But let's see how we go through turn 1. Oh yes, that was very nice through turn 1. Immaculate driving as we close up on Charles Leclerc for his inevitable lift at the top of the hill. And we will close up incredibly through here, taking as much track as we need and going to the left-hand side and cruising by the Ferrari as we extend our lead even further over Lando Norris to 2.5 seconds. And rejoin on lap 9, or the end of lap 9, coming into the pits. Leclerc is in as well. Norris, as I mentioned, on the hard tyre, he will stay out. And so will Piastri, so we're expecting Verstappen to be following us in very shortly as well. There he is. And this shouldn't be too difficult to try and chase down after Norris and Piastri, given that we were much faster than both of them in, qualified. Victor Martins with a massive lock-up there, coming through turn 1, as we now actually, for one of the first times in this season, will have to go wheel-to-wheel with our teammate on pace. Somehow we've managed to gain a 2.5 second lead over Charles Leclerc in the pit lane, so I'm not sure what the Ferrari mechanics were doing to his car there, but we'll forget that as we go past our teammate. This time he doesn't try to crash into us or slow us down. And we are up into Well, I missed what position we're in. But here's the replay from Victor Martin's perspective. And he is behaving himself on this occasion. For now, we'll see what he does later on in the Grand Prix. Sticking quite nice with us there initially, but he will be coming into the pits as he is now. And he is right behind Yuki Tsunoda now. And there's Nico Hülkenberg, who has worked his way back into the points, having made that very early pit stop on lap 4. Although he has got multiple cars behind him who are probably a lot quicker, who have all got DRS, and he doesn't. So this is going to be an absolute death sentence for the Sauber. What can Victor Martins do here in this DRS train? Absolutely nothing, it seems, even though he is driving the fastest car on the grid, and he still can't get past anybody. As we rejoin lap 14 has begun. Oscar Piastri is now in the pits. Norris staying out, but he's now got the a 14.5 second lead over us and Leclerc, which is not going to be enough to stay ahead of us after the pit stop. So we will be de facto first place in a few minutes' time, hopefully. And Leclerc's going to have another look down the inside, and he gets the move done. Back up into the de facto lead of the race is the Ferrari. With still 8 laps to go. Still a long way here at Spa. Norris is into the pits. And we are chasing down Leclerc once again through the final corners. Actually closing up much nicer there. Still a bit of an issue getting the power down compared to that Ferrari. We set the fastest sector 3 there as we go through and finish lap 14 onto lap 15 now. Norris coming out of the pit. Looks like he's going to drop in behind Max Verstappen, or at least in the middle of a fight with him. So that should help us even more. He is on the medium tyre. I have a feeling that are we going to the end on this tyre? I'm not sure. As we go round Leclerc and retake P1. Again, fighting with a Ferrari. This seems to be the theme of the season so far. Ferrari are doing monstrously well. And you can tell it's not real life. This is on board with our teammate. Finally getting the advantage against Yuki Tsunoda. To the inside he goes. And again, the second time this race, contact with Yuki Tsunoda. Victor Martins is driving this like a true Frenchman, trying to park a car in a small Parisian street. This is the onboard from Yuki Tsunoda. Throws his arm up in frustration. As you could expect, this is the second time he's been crashed into in this Grand Prix. Well, actually, the same time that exact part of his car's been hit by someone in this Grand Prix. As we cut to Nico Hülkenberg, you know what's coming. The Sauber's exploded again. Another DNF for Nico Hülkenberg. Another DNF for Kick Sauber. Who knows if Bortoleto will make it to the end of this one as well. He crashes into the 50-meter marker. Obviously trying to throw someone off from their braking zone or whatever. Although, to be fair, if you're braking at 50 meters for that corner, then you've got a death wish. Norris has caught us, though. We've got 4 laps to go. And he is right on the diffuser of Charles Leclerc. And at this point in the Grand Prix, we've got a decision to make. Do we allow Charles Leclerc to be overtaken by Lando Norris and potentially come under attack from someone who is on much fresher mediums than our hards? Or do we give Leclerc the DRS and potentially risk the pair of them overtaking us? But Norris will have to try and get past the Ferrari as well. And basically the answer was, let's give the DRS to Leclerc. And it's worked. Verstappen is closing in, though, and will get DRS on Norris. But he's not going to be close enough to threaten this time. And we've somehow managed to survive to the end of the Camel Straight ahead of these two. And we'll lead the pack home as long as we don't bin it into the Shadow Realm as we go around the final few sectors. Leclerc weaving around, trying to find any way that he could get past. I mean, I don't think the AI have overtaken anywhere except on the DRS straight this in this race so far. And we will basically, on that basis, be absolutely fine. And this is a slam dunk victory. I forget how many races we've won at this point. This might be our 4th win, actually. Australia, Japan, Austria, and now the Belgian Grand Prix. And the sprint, of course, is a Grand Slam victory for us, potentially. We didn't do any practice, so I can't count those as part of the Grand Slam. So it's a fake Grand Slam. But as we come round the final couple of corners, Taylor Bernard will take his 4th victory in Formula 1 and retain his lead at the top of the standings as he crosses the line. He's had a massive accident into the barrier once again, this time choosing not to back it onto the racing line, but to Austin Powers it in this horrendous 9-point turn on the pit straight. Esteban Ocon will pick up driver of the day, and that will keep us, for the time being, at the top of the table. Of course, the main fight in Formula 1 is the constructors. We are still fighting with Red Bull. I don't think we've got much of a hope of trying to overtake Ferrari and McLaren unless they have a catastrophic repeated engine failures between here and the end of the season, resulting in multiple DNFs and pointless races. But unless maybe Victor Martins can pull something out of the bag, who knows? And here are the race results, of course, for the entirety of the weekend. Taylor Barnard picked up maximum points, followed by Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, Esteban Ocon, Kimi Antonelli, Fernando Alonso, Nico Hulkenberg, and Yuki Tsunoda all scoring points. And talking of pulling it out of the bag, Victor Martins managed to score nothing on a race where we managed to win both, despite him having the fastest car. So over to the Drivers' Championship, we now have a 38-point comfortable lead over Charles Leclerc in second, followed by Oscar Piastri, who is slowly dropping away in third. Then we have Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso and Kimi Antonelli rounding out the top 10. Behind them, it's Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll, Jack Doohan, Alex Albon, Isaac Hadjar, Nico Hulkenberg, Victor Martins and Ollie Behrman, followed by the pointless scorers of Liam Lawson, Carlos Sainz and Gabriel Bortoleto. And finally, over to the constructors, it's Ferrari at the top of the table still, but now just 5 points clear of McLaren in second. 71 points back from the lead, it's Slothz in third, and then it's a little bit of a jump back, just 15 points away, Red Bull in fourth. Then we have Mercedes, Aston Martin, Alpine, Haas, Williams, and then tied in 10th, it's RB and Sauber. And that's all for this video. I'll catch you in the next one.